All right. Here's the one that's, we got to talk about this. Okay, cops. We need cops. We need cops. Can you imagine? Okay, you got to have cops, all right? And if you don't have cops, everything's going to get out of hand. But, it's just like, okay, and okay, I'm not saying all cops, all cops are not bad. It's probably a fraction of 1%, right? But you got to figure it. They're under stress, they're under stress, right? And if they pull people over and you start reaching for shit, you start reaching for stuff, I wouldn't do that. I would put my hands on the dash and I wouldn't run. Because as soon as you take off, start running, this cop might be he might be having a bad day. Maybe, this cop, it's not a good, he's having a shit day. Sorry for swearing. He's having a crappy day. He goes to work and then you got somebody that's going to challenge him and reach for stuff. I'm not saying that and then when they say stop, put your hands there, stop. Don't reach for nothing. And here's what people don't realize, that even if you don't run and the cop's a prick and he beats you up and you don't fight back, you can do something about that. You can. You know what you can do? What people don't realize is that when you get arrested, if you get abused when you get arrested, there's two things you can do. And a lot of people don't know this. There's something called internal affairs. Internal affairs they're like the middleman. They're between the cop and the public. Okay, they're like the people that look into investigate stuff like that, right? So what you got to look at is if you get, okay, here, I'll give you an instance what happened. There's a party across the street from my house. This is about 40 years ago. And there's a fight breaking out across the street and all the cops are here. They're arresting people and stuff. And I come out and I was watching it, right? And a policeman said, "Get in your house." I go, "No, I can watch you guys. I'm on the property." So, he actually come up to me, told me to go in the house. I said, "I'm sitting on can't I come outside?" And he just kind of he pushed me. And then I go, "Hey, I said, what are you, effing idiot?" Then he got mad and he's pushed me again. And it's like, next thing I know, I started defending myself. And this has really happened. And they roughed me up. There's about 4 of them on me. And I was just standing on my own porch, right? And they arrested me. They hog-tied me. Well, first they put me in the back of the squad car. And then my wife says, she couldn't believe it happened, right? So then what she did was, I was pissed off and I was, having a few drinks, So I started kicking the back door. Then they pulled me out. They roughed me up again, hog-tied me, and they took me downtown. But I kept fighting back with them too. So if I just later got handcuffed and went downtown. But anyway, I made a phone call when I was down there. And I called the internal affairs, or got a hold of internal affairs, filed a complaint. And they looked at it. And I got out the next morning. But, it's just things. There's two things you could do. You can call the city attorney's office or the state attorney, or you can call the internal affairs or file a complaint. So when a cop pulls you over, don't run, don't reach for nothing. Don't try to be a badass. Don't start provoking them. Because like I said, the cop's having a bad day. There's a lot of good ones out. I'm saying that there's a little bit of bad ones out there. But don't piss them off, okay? Because they might be trigger happy. But most of these incidents, I'd say 99.5% of them wouldn't have got shot. You would maybe got your ass whipped. Or if you would just hold still and not run. I'm sorry, but I just think that there's no cop that's just going to walk up to you and put a cap in you for no reason. But if you try to move around, maybe just hold still. So I don't know. But I want to get into a little more of this, but the thing is, okay, we got the one thing that happened up here. The guy got pulled over for a warrant. And the media people said it was for a thing hanging in the mirror. But that's how the media is, right? And the thing is that, why did you just pull away and jump in the car? And then they got the lady cop that's jittery anyway. So she accidentally shoots him with the pistol instead of a taser. But see, if he would have been calm and went downtown, go through the bullshit, and then just call the city attorney the next day and file a complaint. That's what you do. So it sounds crazy, but don't run. You guys out there, don't run. I'm not, so let me read some comments here. Yeah, every police station or every precinct has a chief of police. Okay, here's what I think. Hi, Richard, Zoe, and Noodles. He's got two cats. You guys look in my sub these guys on the right on the chat live chat thing. But the thing that what gets me is okay. Let's just say that we're looking at the murder conviction of the cop in Minnesota here. Okay, I just know that he was an aggressive cop anyway. He was, but he was going by the book. I mean, see, our laws are the cop laws were terrible. These cops are going to, how do I say, they're going by their handbook, which the handbook is really not, is bullshit, really is, because there's no guidelines really in there until recently they changed it all, So if you're going to get out of hand, they're going to rough you up no matter how they're going to do it anyway. But here's what I looked at nowadays. This is here's another thing that should happen, and I believe maybe it will work. Okay, every police station has a boss. Okay, you know how you work for a company, you have your boss, the chairman of the company. Well, every police station has a chief or superintendent. Okay, and I call them the boss. That's the boss. Now, what I can't, here's what I think would work. Let's say you got one cop that's just a complete dick, he's just an asshole, whatever. Okay, right? Well, guess what? He's responsible for his employees. So is he letting these cops get away? Okay. Well, how much slack is he giving his people that work for him? Right. So here's what, if I was a police chief, okay, or, working or superintendent, whatever, I would have a point system where, okay, if you're getting too many complaints, I'm getting a phone call, people are calling me and roughing people up again. Okay, but some cops got like 15, 20 complaints on them for roughing up people. Well, you gotta sit down and talk to this guy, But I know the cops got unions, but let's just say have a system where all of a sudden you got a cop, he keeps get coming in. Okay, have like a 4 strikes. 4 strikes, you get suspended, and then the 5th time you're done. We're trying to quit beating people up if the cop's doing that. But I'm still getting back to where don't provoke them. And because you know what? Everything can be avoided. All these murders and all these shootings could have all been prevented. They could have been. Just sit there and look like an idiot. I'm saying I would sit there and act like an idiot and not do nothing. Okay, I'm dumb. I'm going to let this cop rough me up, so I'm an idiot. Okay? I'm not going to. So even if, I don't know. Maybe that's how they think. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he thinks that's how I feel. But I tell you what, once I get out the next morning, I'm gonna do some complaining. I'm not gonna fight him. Not nowadays. Not the way crazy shit going on nowadays. What's funny too is a lot of times, especially in bad neighborhoods, the criminals have better firepower. They have better guns than the cops do. These gangs out there and these criminals have better firepower than the police. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, you guys. It's got to stop, though. People just got to wake up and, we got to, don't challenge. And here's another thing, too. You can protest all you want. People are protesting, wrecking the city. It's not helping. Because you can protest all you want. But I don't think anything's going to get done about it. It just pisses off some more people because, but if you go out there and protest and wreck stuff and, violent riots, whatever, it just makes more people upset. So like I said, if you get in trouble, okay, stop getting in trouble. If you're not in trouble, don't make any weird moves because, like I said, I don't think a cop's just going to pull you over and just shoot you. But if you drive off and try to fight them and resist. Yeah, I know it's not good, and it'll probably happen. It will happen, I'm sure, somewhere. But don't give them a reason. Give them no reason. And even if you are in trouble, do good. If you're clean, don't worry about it. You'll get out. They'll let you go after they check you out. And then if you feel, here's another thing. Let's say if you're a minority person, right, and you feel like you're getting picked on by the cops more than a white guy, which I can understand that, you know. So if you get it, but if you get enough complaints, call that chief, call the chief, call the city attorney, you know, and get enough complaints on that cop, and he'll get referended. They will look into it. They get enough calls. That's how you do it, because the police chief is responsible for his workers. Okay, and here's another thing: if you got a police chief or a city superintendent or police chief of any precinct, right, and he's letting us boys get away with too much and not doing anything, then he should lose his job too. But have it on a point system. You get written up so many times, you get suspended, and if you do it again after you get suspended, get rid of the cop. You're fired because you're beating people up. Whatever. That will work. But I'm going to say one more time: we need cops. You got to have cops. You can't have cops. It'd be a wild, wild west. Can you imagine no police? What the world would be like right now? It wouldn't be pretty. Okay. All right.